Hey, what's up, MotoAmerica fans? It's Josh Heron. Make sure you subscribe to the MotoAmerica YouTube channel to see all the up-to-date content. Like and subscribe. Don't forget my channel, too.
Overall, great experience. Meet kids, race with kids, get better overall.
For the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, it's MotoAmerica Superbikes at Road America. Hey everybody, welcome to SportbikeTrackGear.com's Junior Cup race number 2. I'm Greg White, standing alongside Jason Pridmore, two-time national champion. Now, Jason, in Junior Cup yesterday, it was exciting. There were 7 riders that went to the line, but on the last lap, Tyler Scott got away. Our championship points leader, Ben Gloddy, though, got swallowed up and finished 3rd.
Yeah, no question. Tyler Scott did what every racer wants to do. He got into turn 5 leading, was able to pull that gap all down through the infield section here at Road America and get a pretty easy win. Now, for Ben Gloddy, who qualified some 1.3 seconds quicker than the next guy, we kind of thought maybe it's going to be a one-man race. Wasn't to be the case for Ben as he gets drawn into the draft by Cody Wyman. Cody ends up 2nd. Ben, still leading the points, ends up 3rd.
Yeah, but for Benjamin Gloddy, he had qualified, like you said, Jason, so far ahead. As we look at the stats of our 15-year-olds from New Hampshire, the question was, did Benjamin Gloddy expect that race? Well, our very own Hannah Lopa had a chance to talk to Ben, and here's what he had to say.
Greg, yesterday we saw a very disappointed Benjamin Gloddy on the podium. Despite a great points haul for finishing 3rd, he thought the bike was capable of more than that result reflected. When I spoke with him, he said he played the race through in his head last night to evaluate what he could do differently or better for today's race. And he said overall he just really wants to use the bike's strength and his own abilities to try and break away from that pack.
All right, thanks, Hannah. But Jason, Tyler Scott went a second faster in warm-up today than he's gone all weekend. He's looking to repeat.
So I have 2 questions here as we go into Sport Bike Track Gear Junior Cup. Jason Wygant and Roger Hayden here. Is it a 2-rider battle? The championship standings show you that it's Gloddy on top of Scott. They've won the majority of the races this year. So who's the better man out of those 2? And then who else can join them at the front?
It can change every week. All these guys talk about their strategy for the race. That can change lap by lap here, especially in the Junior Cup, because you can go from 1st to 7th in one straightaway. So you almost need to have a couple strategies in your head and see how it plays out whenever you get to turn 5. If you get to turn 5 and you're in the lead, then you need to try to probably check out through the infield. And if you're not in the lead in turn 5, it's probably best just to hang there and then try to use the draft up the front straight. And there's a lot of these kids that can win today.
Absolutely. Not just Tyler Scott or Ben Gloddy. Gus Rodeo has been strong all weekend and really all season. Max Toth. Blake Davis making a big breakthrough. That was a good run for him yesterday.
Great run from him yesterday. Actually, it's been his best weekend so far in Junior Cup. First top 5 yesterday and right there close to the podium, so I'm sure he learned a lot being able to race with the leaders the whole race. You learn so much whenever you get to ride with that next group in front of you.
And there's Blake right there on that number 22. It's a green Yamaha. Also Max Van. Jack Roach has shown better speed this weekend. He had a rough go of it at our last one in Virginia, so he's a lot better here. David Kolstad has been a front runner throughout the year. So many riders that can contend, especially when you throw these long straightaways and a draft in to racing in the STG Junior Cup class. So this should be a fun one. If you like the pack racing, you're about to get it. 4 miles of racing and 3 long straightaways mean drafting and strategy are going to play the key factor for Junior Cup.
Back in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, overlooking Road America, a spectacular road course for our 3rd round of this championship. On our final day of racing, time to take a look at the track map, Jason, because this is a favorite for pretty much everybody, fans all the way to racers.
Absolutely it is, and there's a lot of elevation that you can't see on TV. The big run down to turn 1 is the first big drafting straightaway. Then from turn 3 down to turn 5, it's the same. Tyler Scott escaped everybody from turn 5, and you can see it gets a little bit more twisty as we go down into the carousel into turn 9 and 10. Then another back straightaway going down into Canada Corner, turn 12, and then you come back up the hill through 13, 14 on the run to the flag.
And Jason, let's take a look at the schedule for the remaining races here in MotoAmerica, because we're at Road America now in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, but then we go to the Ridge in Shelton, Washington, a racetrack that you would argue is dramatically different from what we have here at Road America.
Yeah, it has the elevation, but it doesn't have the big long straightaways that we see here. So there's an inaugural year that we went there last year and got to have a look at it, and you can see a lot of twists and turns, a lot of elevation, especially that last little section. But you know, the whole, basically there's a 3/4 of the track is up on what they call the actual ridge, and so the bikes here, the racing here will be really tight, especially in Junior Cup.
Yeah, no, by the way, if you're thinking about coming, you should do it, because at the Ridge, new grandstands going in. That looked great. Cody Wyman trying to put it on the top of the box one more time this season. Can he do it?
There's Gus Rodeo with the evil red eyes on top of his machine, and he's been quick all season long, and he was right in that draft pack when we were racing yesterday. It's Jason Wagan and Roger Hayden giving you the call here as we go through the breaks on MotoAmerica Live Plus. Riders going to get a chance to check out this track. You saw Rocco Landers down there. He's part of the team with Ben Gloddy, giving his riders some advice, probably what he just learned from Super Sport. And I'm telling you, Rocco, I think, is just as into Gloddy's results as his own. He's a huge cheerleader down there, and we're underway with a sight lap.
He was actually down there holding the umbrella.
Yeah,
with Ben Gloddy.
umbrella guy, doing it all. Pretty cool to have this KTM back in the series. Won the championship before, then I didn't really see many KTMs around. Now we're back with Tyler Scott, and getting to see the strengths and weaknesses of these machines. And also, Scott, a good addition to the series himself. Was not part of MotoAmerica until this year. Spent some time over in Europe and developed some pretty good racing habits over there. And talking to his crew at our last race, they said everyone wants to be Marc Marquez and be hanging all over the bike and elbows down, but on these smaller bikes, you're just gathering up more wind resistance when you do that. Even in the corners, they try to work on tucking in. Every little bit helps at the smaller displacement. Rodeo right behind him as they check this track out. Long racetrack, so it'll be a little longer sight in, especially for these bikes. And then we'll get to go racing in what could be the closest race of the weekend, except for Super Sport Race 1, which would have been unbelievable, except that their two leaders crashed out at the end. As they're through the carousel, and we're about to send it back. We will let Greg White, Jason Pridmore, Hannah Lopa, and Jamie Howe give you the call for Junior Cup.
Today's STG Junior Cup coverage is sponsored by SportbikeTrackGear.com, the motorcycle apparel and parts specialists. And in part by Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance. And Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
All right, so back here at Road America, as we take a look at the starting grid, it's Benjamin Gloddy on pole from Tyler Scott and Gus Rodeo, your front row, Jay.
Yeah, with Maxwell Toth, Blake Davis, and Max Van outside row 2. Be good to see Max get in there today. He was right there with him yesterday. Jack Roach on row 3, Cody Wyman, Joe Lamandry, Kolstedt, Tao, and Bickney's are going to round out row number 4. Back to the 5th row, we got Chase Black, Owen Williams, Brady Fours. We got Dreyer, Krasep, and Essman on row number 6. Vandal, Ricci, and Vandal on row 7, and Keegan Brown is going to be rounding out our field.
Motorcycles forming up the grid as we get ready for the race start. Great shots from our Lucas Oil helicopter. This class, of course, SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup, designed for 14 to 28-year-old athletes. Good look at the number 70, Ty Scott, making sure that his brakes are nice and warmed up as we get ready for this race start. It's time to go racing. SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup race number 2 from Road America. Our pole sitter, Ben Gloddy, looking for a good launch. Ty Scott definitely got off the line strong. He's got a bike length lead already. The field will fall in behind the number 70, the KTM rider, as they head off into turn number 1. See if we have more shuffling of positions. So it's going to be Scott, Gloddy, 1-2.
Rodeo there in third, it looks like. And then what we got? We got Max Toth in there. We got Cody Wyman, second place finisher from yesterday in 5th. And now the drafting starts. I'll just head down this back straightaway.
We'll see how many riders are able to stay in tow. So it's Scott who leads the way for the moment. Side by side is Gloddy. There's a lead change, another lead change.
Man, look at Cody Wyman. He gets a 4-rider draft as they go down into turn 5. Jack Roach out early. Looks like possibly turn 3.
So there we go. It looks like Scott has the lead over Gloddy.
Great action shot through the middle of turn 7 there. And Scott does have the lead. Gloddy's still there. And then obviously Rodeo. And now look, Blake Davis goes up underneath Cody Wyman for 5th place. Going to run it out a little bit wide before they get to the carousel.
Very fast right-hander carousel, where we saw Ty Scott very strong on the exit. Some small, subtle changes made to the KTM overnight, and Scott showed a lot of potential in the morning warm-up.
Yeah, you said he went a second quicker this morning. I didn't get to actually see the final times of those, Greg, but a second is a lot to find on a Sunday morning. So that's got to be shaky for the competition. When you look at the qualifying results, Ben Gloddy was 1.3, I believe it was, up on the next rider. So yesterday, I'm sure Ben went into this race thinking that he was going to just be able to run away, and you see he's taking the front, taking the point, has the 72. But it just didn't work out that way because the straightaways here allow so many other riders, even if you're a little bit off the pace, it allows so many riders as Scott goes back up underneath Gloddy in 13. Hannah, what you got?
Yesterday, Jay, we saw that Tyler Scott was kind of pulling a gap a little bit toward the end of the race, and I talked to Benjamin Gloddy today. He said he really felt like he had the motorcycle to do the same, but he just got swallowed up in that pack. He said, you know, he knows there's going to be big draft battles, but if him and Tyler can stick together and almost kind of work together, he thinks they'll be able to pull away for the first few laps and then battle it out, just the two of them. But I mean, you got Rodeo there, Todd, Cody Wyman, Blake Davis, all in the mix, trying not to let them get away.
Yeah, and right now, Hannah, what you just said is, as you were talking, there's a big 5-rider, 6. Well, is there almost 7 now? I think Max Van is right there on the back of them again. We've got 7 riders in this lead draft that are trying to just break away ever so slightly from Lemandry and Kolstedt, who are 8th and 9th as they came across. The aerial views here really give you an idea of how the draft works. So you see the rider in 3rd here. As those 2 guys in front of him kind of fan out to pass each other, everybody else will just get drawn into this draft, and you'll end up being 4 or 5 wide as they head down into turn 5 again. Almost 6 wide as Max Van now finds himself back there in that draft as well.
It's going to be Ben Gloddy into turn number 5, who takes the spot and leads the way up underneath the Corvette bridge with Ty Scott, yesterday's race winner, in 2nd. So now what Hannah talked about in terms of what Ben Gloddy had in mind, this is the opportunity for these two to try to break free from the pack. But through the infield, it's one thing, but when you get onto the straightaway, it turns into a whole nother story. But again, impressed with Blake Davis on the 22. Good ride so far for Davis on that Yamaha YZF R3.
3 different brands right now in the top 3. Looking at the front there with Gloddy leading. He's on the Kawasaki, obviously, and then we got the KTM of Scott, Yamaha of Blake Davis. We got a bunch of Kawasaki's right behind that group.
One thing about Scott is he just looks so nimble on that KTM RC390R, Jay. He's just able to get in front of somebody and just really move it all over the racetrack, and it just seems like it sticks so well.
You almost feel like you can see inside what he's thinking too. He looks very relaxed, almost like he's always planning what's kind of going on. Always has a little bit of control over where he is on the racetrack and doesn't let anybody else kind of dictate where he needs to be or where he wants to be. And that's a sign of a guy that even at a young age has a lot of racing IQ and a high intelligence level on the motorcycle itself.
A lot of experience in Europe already for Ty Scott. taking all that experience and bringing it back to the United States and MotoAmerica. Gus Rodeo battling it out with Blake Davis.
Gus is another one who just is always there right now, and there's going to be a good result coming from that young man soon as well. We saw him sadly get injured last year at the Ridge while he was starting to really come forward, and you can see him here. He's drafting up to that lead spot now as he drafts by Scott, gets in the draft of Ben Gloddy, and see if he's able to do something with these guys as they go down into turn one. He's going to slot himself into second place, but he's going to find himself on the podium, if not today, very, very soon on the regular.
5 laps to go, already a dozen lead changes in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup race number 2 as the 22 moves himself into second spot with Ben Gloddy on the 72 leading. Gus Rodeo in third with Ty Scott in fourth. A good look at the 7. It's those last 2 though, Jason, Cody Wyman and Max Van, that had lost a little bit coming out of the front straightaway, and then they were able to gather it back up as really turns 2 and 3, link 2 long straightaways. Rider off, not part of this lead group.
Just rolling along the track there. Max Van, I was watching him there in the back of this group, kind of watching him get pulled along into that draft. And, you know, yesterday I was curious to see if he could get himself to the front. I wasn't sure if it was maybe a gearing thing or something like that that was preventing him. So I'm going to keep an eye on him today and see if we can see some of the things that he's doing back there to see if that 48 can't get himself up here and run up at the front with these guys a little bit closer. He's right in that lead group. We know he can do the times.
58 Maxwell Top leading the way. Had an up and down year, a couple of DNFs, but a podium at our 4th round. Race number 2 at Virginia for Toth. Highly touted coming into this championship is the 58. So leading the way, showing everybody the line with Scott in second. Let's see if 72, Gloddy going to make a move. And some action going on back there on Cody Wyman.
Blake Davis and Cody Wyman kind of mixing it up there. Just off the, not off the back, but they just got to make sure that they don't do too much of that stuff in those kind of corners to create these gaps. As you can see now, Scott has now gone back to the lead in the draft over Toth. Gloddy's on the left-hand side as they roll down into Canada Corner.
Oh, and it looked like Scott for a moment maybe turned in too early, had to check up. Nothing big, Jason. Corner speed so important to keep momentum on these smaller displacement motorcycles.
Yeah, just releasing that lever early and trying to keep that corner speed up, and then when you get back on the gas, you haven't dropped as many RPMs, hopefully, so you can get on the gas as early as you want. As you see these guys all running out over that paint on the exit of that final corner, and these are all dress rehearsals now of just seeing how many bikes do I need to have in front of me to where I can really get this draft going. And now you're going to see Blake Davis. He's the 5th one in your picture, all black there. He got a 3-4 rider draft. And just off the back now is Max Van. Just lost out a little bit there. But he'll be able to draw those guys back in as they come into turn 1 and head down to turn 3.
Benjamin Gloddy will make note of where he was coming out of the final corner because he came across the stripe, credited with the lead on that lap by 16 thousandths of a second. Hannah?
Well, I caught up with Maxwell Toth. You know, he's had an up and down season so far, and this is another new track for him. So the learning curve's a little bit steep. He did have a bit of a tip over in warm up this morning, but he's got the experience of a really well-established rider, Nobi Iso, in his corner, putting that bike back together. And he said he definitely feels that he's going to have a better bike under him today than he's had all weekend, and that's really showing right now.
One fast name, Nobi Iso.
Yes,
around racing.
Very true.
And look at him. So now, Jason, the one thing I think that's impressive compared to yesterday is we're seeing different riders doing different things. As you look at the 48 of Max Van up into 3rd spot, was into 2nd. So we're seeing a lot more mixing up of riders all across these 7 than we did yesterday.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because when you hang out at the tail end of this big lead pack like Max did yesterday, you're learning all the time and you're going through things. But to get up there in this front pack in this first 2, 3, even though they're only 3/10, 4/10 ahead of you when you're sitting there in 6th and 7th, this is going to be another level of experience that Max is going to get today, where he's going to be up there with these guys. It's going to give him a lot of confidence knowing that he can run up at the front, lead these races, be in that top 2 or 3 people. So, you know, good move from him as you see Blake Davis now slides his way into 3rd.
Laps winding down, about 3.5 to go, and you can see that rear tires already getting punished. A lot of riders getting on the gas. They don't want to lose the toe. It's Tyler Scott who leads the way. coming into Canada corner. And Cody Wyman now in second spot. With Scott trying to pull the pin, his body language has changed slightly, Jason. He's trying, but a couple corners from now, we got a long straightaway in these evenly matched, but different manufacturer, small displacement Junior Cup motorcycles. Use that draft and pass to perfection. Out of the final corner, Scott leads the way.
You look here in the third place position here, number 22. Blake's just getting on the gas. He loses the rear ever so slightly. Nothing too big. It's going to cause everybody else behind to just check up ever so slightly. But you hit it on the head, Greg. You know, you don't want to let these guys get away. You get so nervous of losing that draft once you're in it. And there you go. Max Van gets himself to the front of the field as they're going to go rolling off into turn number 1. He's going to lead them there. And you can see how tight it gets. And then everybody slots into a line. They all find their spots. And then they'll go down into turn 3. And then they'll do it all again when they head down that back straightaway. So there's a lot of strategies to be played. And you can see Ty Scott thought about going up underneath. Wasn't quite able to make it. That might hurt his drive ever so slightly out of there.
We'll see if Scott gets swallowed up on this one. There you go. Everybody's starting to just get around him. But it seems very temporary at this point.
But you called it, Greg. I mean, just that little slip up is all it takes. And then he's able to get back in that draft, and he'll probably find him. Look at Blake Davis on the left side of your screen. He's going to try to get by all of them before they get down into turn 5.
But Scott around the outside again will take over the lead. He is so comfortable into turn number 5. And Scott will hold on to the lead with the laps winding down. Gus Rodeo in second spot. Blake Davis in third. This is crazy. Max Van in fourth. So now is Rodeo going to try Scott on the brakes? No, you can see that Rodeo got off the gas and on the brakes before Scott did through the carousel. This is where the 70 was so strong yesterday. And some of these riders, including Cody Wyman. Cody right now, Jason, in the back of this pack, the carousel hasn't been the strong suit for our podium finisher from yesterday, 34 Cody Wyman, who led across start finish line last lap by.
And that's how quickly it can change. You can lead, and the next thing you know, you find yourself in 7th. So that right now, but Cody's in a good spot. You know, Cody's in a great spot. He'd have that experience from yesterday. We saw him have to catch that lead group yesterday, and he was able to draft up. So he's not in a bad spot at all right now. You'll see him pull up here and probably just sit behind Toth as they go into Canada corner.
Ooh. Wow, Jay, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Our leader there, the 22, big moment on the front end and was able to save it, but you could see he lost a lot of drive on that one. Did our N2 rider, Blake Davis. Now Gus Rodeo trying to put his head down. Sweeping through the final corner. Up onto the straightaway we go.
This battle on the right-hand side of our screen, Greg. Sorry, this is the battle for about 8th through 12th. So we got 2 distinct groups of riders all battling it out and all doing the same thing. They're drafting and redrafting, trying to get to the front. So all these groups, both these groups are on the front straightaway. They're just separated by about 4 seconds.
And of course, MotoAmerica lends itself to it, a nice wide racetrack and plenty of room for these narrower, smaller displacement motorcycles. So the left part of your screen is the battle for the lead, and then this battle going on right here. 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Owen Williams in there on the 13, his first race weekend, and he is learning a lot.
And that gap's actually 10 seconds between groups. I was a little mistaken there. Just look closer than that. But here you go again. Big draft and pass as they go down. Now, it's going to be interesting to see if Ty Scott pulls over to the right and just outbreaks everybody again. He's not going to have the room this time to do that, as Max Van's going to lead in there. And Ty Scott got in there a little bit deep, didn't he?
He did, because he can carry so much extra corner speed under braking that he almost ran into the back of another rider. All right, so leading the way is Max Van. He takes over the lead one more time. We have about a lap and a half to go in this one. And a rider down. It looks like Aiden Tao. So Aiden Tao is down and out of what looked to be close to a top 10 position. So we're heading off to the carousel. Time is running out. You got to start thinking race strategy right now. On our way to the chicane, the 48, Max Van. leads the way. The SportbikeTrackGear.com entry finds himself in a great position, leading this incredible battle for a race win.
The problem is you start seeing these guys get a little bit frantic when they're 4th, 5th, 6th. They get dropped back there a little bit. But just remember, it wasn't just a lap ago that we saw Cody Wyman coming down into this turn in 7th. Now he's trying to draft himself up to the lead. And look at Blake Davis on the inside trying to go by all these guys as he squeaks in there. Max Toth gave him just enough room there. Gus Rodeo just behind. And Ty Scott has just now found himself in the back of this group. So he is going to get a big toe down this front straightaway. He won't be too worried about things at the moment. As you can see, Toth now goes up underneath Cody Wyman. As they come to the flag this time, or the stand this time, they should see the white flag.
Benjamin Gloddy leading the way, your championship points leader by 7 over Ty Scott. Cody Wyman's in 3rd in the points championship. And now Gloddy gets swallowed up. White flag out. It's going to be Max Van, Cody Wyman, Toth, Gloddy, Davis as they keep fanning out. 7 wide into turn 1. And the 22 retakes the spot. There goes Blake Davis, the lone Yamaha in this group. A whole heap of Kawasaki's in a KTM. And now the 58 Toth.
Don't forget that Yamaha in 2nd there. Blake Davis has shown that he's able to get in the draft. Ty Scott kind of far off the back of this, but watch that bike in 7th. Hopefully it can start to get a draft. He's not close enough though, Greg, and he's coming into the spot where we've seen Scott so strong down here in turn 5. These guys start fanning out. I see Cody Wyman on the outside. Gloddy is right in the middle. Gus Rodeo's right in the middle of the screen as well, and he's going to lead him into turn 5 as they head back towards Canada corner in the carousel. This is going to be a crucial last lap. As you can see, guys going up there fighting for position going into turn number 7.
Oh, and Gloddy got bogged. He got balked in that turn. He had a line picked, but it got taken away by Toth.
But look at number 70. He's already got by 2 guys. Now he's in the draft of Gloddy as they head down towards turn number 8. He's going to look inside. He's not going to be able to make that. Cody Wyman has now gone to the back of this group along with Max Van. So those guys might be getting a nice little draft as they head down towards Canada corner. We're going through the carousel. Will Blake Davis try to do something with Gus Rodeo going into the chicane?
Look at Blake Davis, the 22. What corner speed. On the brake, sends it sideways into the chicane. So the N2 Racing rider will lead us out and towards Canada corner. Oh, and a bit of a gap.
Ty Scott again, though. He's got by Gloddy. So remember, he went into turn 7 in 7th place. He's found himself into 4th. He's going to get a nice little draft here off a couple of different riders as they come down into Canada corner. We're going to fan out 5 wide again. And number 70 is going to try to take to the front. He's not going to make it. Rodeo shuts the door on him, but he's put himself in a good position now.
Oh, boy. And Ben Gloddy shuffled all the way back. It's not looking good for the New Hampshire resident, your points leader. He's got some time to make up. He's back in this group, and there goes Ty Scott to the lead. Does he want to be leading? Coming onto the front straightaway. Here we go. It's the dash to the checkered flag. Scott leads the way. Rodeo in 2nd. The 58 Toth as they fan out. They come across. Up the hill they come. Someone's in the dirt. Who's going to get this? As they come across the line. And Gus Rodeo with a hand in the air, and he does it by 24 thousandths of a second. Tyler Scott in 2nd.
Owen Williams coming up the hill now, also looking at top 8-9 positions, and it's gonna be Owen Williams. Ends up 8th in his debut here at MotoAmerica. 14-year-old does a nice job. Lamandry, Kolstedt, Avery, and Hayden Bickneys are gonna end up in that big battle for 8th place. What a tremendous race by all the riders.
And your points leader, Gloddy, all the way back in 7th. His rival in the championship right now, Scott in 2nd. What a final lap. 24 thousandths of a second. 22 thousandths of a second. Scott got Toth. A tenth of a second to Max Van. Photo finish, Jason Pridmore, is 58 Toth was out in the dirt.
He's out in the dirt tracking, and you can see Gus needs to not celebrate quite so early. Made me a little nervous there. Keep your head down till you get across that stripe. Nevertheless, he wins it. You're going to see how close it is. He just gets by and gets that draft. Max Toth trying to do the same thing, but he gets out in the dirt, and that just ruined his momentum just a little bit.
Yeah,
did Max? He had a run, didn't he? But Gus Rodeo made me look smart. I kind of said he was going to start doing pretty well here and be on the podium a lot. Gus Rodeo gets his first win.
I think all these riders, what a great race. I think in the championship, though, Ben Gloddy's going to be looking at this one saying, what happened? Didn't really pan out. I know that Hannah had told us that Blake Davis wanted to be in first or second position heading onto the front straightaway. It didn't work out, but still it's going to be Rodeo, Scott, and Toth on the podium. So Toth, his second appearance this season. And for Gus Rodeo, his first podium is a win. We're going to talk to this young rider when we come back. What a victory, hand in the air. He's pumped.
And that one was just as good as advertised. You knew with the draft battles that this would be an unbelievable race all the way to the end. Tyler Scott managed to break away at the very end of yesterday's race. This time it was a draft pack all the way to the finish. That was fun to watch.
That was a really good race. I mean, these guys were going from first to seventh in one corner, and every time you would think somebody would be falling off the group, you just wherever you're at, we're on the last lap. We've seen Tyler Scott was seventh on the last lap, worked his way up to the lead before the last corner.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody had a strategy, but then it goes haywire in these draft packs. We'll show a couple of clips here from the final lap. Blake Davis at one point found himself in the lead. Wanted the lead out of turn 5, but got shuffled a little bit here.
Just going into turn 5, he was leading down that straightaway, got shuffled back to fourth, and then there was a mistake right here by Max Toth, I think, and let Blake Davis get by him and Gloddy. And I think this is what happened to Gloddy the last lap. I think he got pinched off right here, and a couple guys got by him.
Yeah, that little bit of momentum makes all the difference. And Tyler Scott on the orange KTM at 1.7th, he starts making moves and actually found himself in the lead late in this lap. And I'm not sure that's where he wanted to be, as Rodeo and Toth battling for it, as well as Davis. And then we'll set up more drafting here. I have to wonder between Rodeo and Scott if either one of them wanted to be leading. They were a little hesitant leading out of that final corner, both of them in 1-2.
Kind of seemed like to me Scott wanted to lead. Maybe he tried it a couple laps and he couldn't get by Gus Rodeo before the start-finish line, the KTM, for whatever reason. Maybe he couldn't get by. That's the only reason why I would think he would make that pass in the last corner. Maybe he thought he could make the pass, run him a little bit wide, and hold it to the line.
So here we are through the forest. Next to last draft opportunity here. So Davis found himself in a good spot again at one point. And here's Scott and Rodeo fighting for it. See, it almost seemed like Scott didn't want it there, but then he did go for it. Rodeo in the lead, Scott right behind him. And now Toth right there in third. Gloddy just got shuffled. And there is Scott. He chose to take the lead coming out of the final turn.
And who got the best run, actually, of all these guys is Max Toth. You can see him here doing it perfect. As soon as Gus Rodeo pulls out, he goes with him. Look at that head of steam he has. If he had another foot of racetrack, he would have won that race.
Is that okay there, what Rodeo did, moving left?
It was, because he was moving left to go by Tyler Scott.
Okay.
I don't think he even knew he was behind him.
Okay, so yeah, Toth ended up in the dirt. That killed his momentum, and that ended up third. And then Scott almost had enough distance on that straightaway to redraft back around Rodeo. The final margin of victory, 0.024 between Rodeo and Scott, and then 0.022 back to Toth in third. That's the type of racing you expect when you get Junior Cup in a track that is prone to drafting. Max Van was fourth, Blake Davis fifth, Cody Wyman sixth, Ben Gloddy seventh. So two front runners in the series, 6-7. The way it all shook out there, that will change the points for sure.
Today's Junior Cup race coverage has been sponsored by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Welcome back to Road America as riders making their way into victory lane. Hugs all around for Gus Rodeo coming back from injuries sustained last season. Let's take a look at the final results. 24 thousandths of a second on a perfectly timed draft and pass by Gus Rodeo. Boy, Jason, it looks like Toth, I think, had it there if it wasn't for a little bit in the grass.
Yeah, he got it. He just wasn't able to keep it on the pavement, got in the dirt, and it just ruined his drive. Let's get down to Hannah.
Jason, this is a career first podium for Gus Rodeo and a victory at that. What a special memory that you will have moving forward. Gus, take us through that last lap. There was a lot of trading passes. What was your strategy to try and come across the line in first?
At first, my strategy was to try and get a gap and pull away. I'm kind of glad Tyler passed me in the last corner because I definitely wouldn't be standing here if I was pushing my own win down the straightaway. So I'm super happy to get my first podium and have it be a win. I mean, I can't ask for anything more. So hats off to my whole rodeo racing team, everyone for believing in me. I know I can stand up here. So this isn't going to be a third, or it's not going to be the last one. So yeah, thanks HJC, RS Tai Chi, Moto Liberty, Frank, Artie, Mike. Artie's not here, but this one's for you.
Congrats to Gus Rodeo on his first victory in the STG Junior Cup.
And Jason, he is our 6th different rider who stands on the podium this season and our 4th different race winner only after 3 rounds. Let's get right back down to Hannah.
Second place today goes to Tyler Scott. It's your second podium of the weekend following up yesterday's win with second place. How are you feeling about your performance overall? Are you happy with this result?
Yeah, I'm happy with the performance. I got really good points and the bike handled well. But big thanks to KTM, RI Helmets, Bob Robbins, and everyone that helped me, the whole team, Muffin Man, and everyone out here.
Looking ahead to the Ridge, how do you prepare to use anything you learned this weekend for the Ridge?
Definitely, we learned a little bit more about the bike and the setup, and we're just going to take that and move forward and hopefully get another couple podiums at the Ridge.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Guys.
Yeah, for Ty Scott, he's had 5 podiums, Jason, in 6 races. And if my math is correct, we'll have to check it later on in this broadcast, but I believe that Ty Scott is going to be your championship points leader heading off to the Ridge. So quite impressive coming back from Europe, and he is making quite a name for himself here in MotoAmerica. Right back down to Hannah.
Guys, it's a day of first for our SportbikeTrackGear Junior Cup members. A first podium for Maxwell Toth after quite an up and down season so far. Take us through that last lap.
That was stressful for sure. There was a lot of moments where I didn't know what was going to happen, if maybe we were going to crash, maybe 4 of us was going to collide. It was really, really hectic, but I had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. That's the way I like to race. I like it when we're rubbing. I like it when there's contact, and it's really fun. I'm really happy with this result. Almost won it, but just touched the grass on the last lap on the straight, so we'll get there. We're working. I want to thank my whole Veloce racing team for giving me this opportunity. They've put so much up for me that it's incredible. I'm truly grateful for all of it. And my T3 crew back at home in NorCal, Shoei Helmets, for keeping me safe, keeping my head safe. And yeah, everybody else, to all the other sponsors of the team, thank you.
Maxwell Toth rounding out our podium.
That's right. The Belmont, California resident is climbing the ladder, and he is going to be a permanent fixture at the front of this SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup Series. This is what you've been waiting for. Here it is, a change at the top of the leaderboard as Ty Scott leads this championship 4 over Ben Gloddy. Well, that'll do it for us. Race number 2 here from Road America at SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup. We enjoyed the race. I hope you did. For Hannah Lope and Jason Pridmore, I'm Greg White. Thanks for joining us. See you in a couple weeks.
Hey, I'm Brian Van from